Mahana Beamer, and today we're in the sculpture garden of the Capitol Modern. And today we're making ʻUlu corned beef hash. I chose this recipe because this is something that I've always made. We always take bentos to the beach or to the mountain, and in our bentos it's customary to have the ʻUlu corned beef in there, ʻUlu corned beef hash. So here in Hawaii, we have the ʻulu tree. This is a baby ʻulu tree. And from the ʻulu tree, we get breadfruit. Breadfruit is a canoe plant, which they were brought over to Hawaii from Polynesia on the canoe. Ulu can be foraged around the islands. Along the Kona coast, they have what is called the ulu belt, which is ulu trees all along the coast. And we're also cooking with Hawaiian chili pepper as well that can be foraged. The other ingredients that we're using today are some bay leaves, corned beef, garlic, onions. Those can all be bought with your SNAP benefits in the supermarkets and farmers markets as well. So ulu trees grow very large. It has different stages and it tastes very different at each stage. It has lots of fiber. You can identify them by their leaves. The ulu fruit are very large. Most times when you forage, you'll get the whole ulu fruit. It can be used as many things. It depends on the different stages that it's in. So the immature fruit is pretty small, about the size of your palm, and it's very textured, very rough texture. And if you pick it at this stage, then it resembles kind of like an artichoke heart. So you can boil it like an artichoke heart, and you can marinate it or pickle it, or eat it with butter, which is great on its own. And then as it gets older, the skin starts to smooth out. And when the skin smooths out, they get larger. And then at that stage, you can kind of use it like a potato. And then the stage after that, it gets really ripe. The starches start turning to sugar, and it gets a lot sweeter and more pungent smelling. So today we're going to use the mature stage where it tastes like a potato. You can eat the skin of the ulu. It's not a problem, has lots of fiber. So what you want to do is when you pick the ulu, you can wash it. They'll have a lot of latex on it. It's not harmful, you can eat it. And then you will pluck off the stem, and then you can just cook it like that whole. Ulu is abundant at a certain time of the year, and so there's so much of it you can't eat it all, so we end up freezing it. Most people, when they freeze it, they will peel it, par cook it, and freeze it for later use. So today we're using the par cooked ulu. So to prepare the ulu, we just take, it's roughly about 4 cups of ulu, and we're gonna put that in the pot, and we're gonna add some water. This is about 1 quart of water. For already pre-cooked ulu, you can go a little less because it won't be cooking as long as if you had a whole fruit. And then about a 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar. You can use whatever vinegar you have. It doesn't have to be apple cider, but apple cider tends to be a little more savory. And then we're gonna salt it. 1/2 tablespoon of salt. We're gonna throw in 2 of the Hawaiian chili peppers. I take the stem off. You can leave it whole, and then the chili peppers, it all depends on your heat tolerance. 2 is pretty mild. If you like it really spicy, you can add a few more. And then I have a couple of bay leaves, about 10 whole black peppercorns. I have some garlic, so it's peeled. I just like to give it a smash. We have about 5 or 6 cloves. Again, your preference. If you really like garlic, you can add more garlic or less. And then we're gonna take a whole onion and cut it into maybe about 1/2 inch dices. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It cooks down and it gets really soft. So now we will turn on the flame to about a medium. You want it at a kind of a low boil. Cook this down for maybe about 15 minutes. Let the water evaporate. When you use the whole fruit, you'll add more water, and you have to make sure you watch it and make sure the water doesn't all burn out. If the water is going down, just keep adding water. The ʻulu is cooked, and you know that the ʻulu is cooked when you can stick a chopstick all the way through the middle of it. This is the cooked ʻulu. The onions and the garlic have all softened up. If there is any water left over in the pot or any liquid left over in the pot, you can drain it. You can take out the bay leaves before you start making the mix. If your peppercorns are not soft enough, you can take those out as well if you like. And then to this, we are going to add 1 can of corned beef. Break it up in there. And then we're going to add around 2 to 3 eggs. It depends on the mixture. You don't want it too soft and wet. I'm going to start off with 2 eggs for now. Let's add some pepper. I like a lot of pepper. And what I'm going to do is just use my fork to mash it up. I like to use the same pot, less dishes. And I like big chunks of ʻulu when I'm eating my corned beef. If you are making a whole breadfruit or a whole ʻulu, you can eat the skin. The skin has lots of fiber and it tastes good. Okay, so now that we have the mix all ready, we will start frying it. So I just have a frying pan here, some oil. You can use whatever oil you have, vegetable oil, canola oil. And we're just gonna put a nice layer, about a tablespoon or so, on the bottom of the pan. Let's get this nice and heated. Do about a medium-high heat. But everything is cooked in here, so all you're doing is browning and heating it up a little more. So what I do is I take a scoop, any size you like, and I just scoop it, and then I will just lay that in there and kind of flatten it a little. You can either use the back of that or your spatula. It can be as thick as you want. I'm going here about 3/4 to 1/2 inch. I like the chunks of ʻulu in there to be nice and noticeable. So you just want to give it a nice brown on both sides. And then keep adding oil as you need. Because it is so thick, I want to make sure that it gets enough cooking time because I do have egg in here. So that's the great thing about it being so thick. It's more forgiving, turning back and forth. And you can also keep it in the oven if you need to keep it warm. You can reheat it. This mix can also be frozen. Put it in a Ziploc and then pat it down flat and freeze it. You know, you need a quick breakfast, just pull it out. And here it is, really simple. You can have it for breakfast, for dinner, for lunch, or on the go. And my take on ʻulu corned beef hash. Thank you.